Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing okay. I don't think any of you will be doing fantastically well, but it is Connor. We're back here with another three things. I think it's going to be a bit of an interesting dissect of Leeds United and of the current predicament, and it leads us quite nicely, in a sense, toward a bit of content, really, towards the transfer window. Shout out to all of you in the building. Normally, we don't go live for this. Normally, we do a pre-recorded video, but I felt like I needed the community's help on this one. And I'm going to get into a few of my thoughts. And it's going to be a little bit different to yesterday. It's going to be a little bit different to the sort of rhetoric that was going on about yesterday. I am going to try to develop it a little bit, and we're going to get into a couple of examples, a couple of solutions as well, of which I think is really important on this channel. I don't think I've mentioned this several times. It's not all just about finding problems and finding positives and all this sort of stuff. It is about offering solutions and trying to look at the longevity of Leeds United, whether or not positive or naturally negative. But I think Leeds are in a little bit of an interesting state at the minute, and I want to talk to you guys about that. I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. I think the community has been thriving at the minute. You guys getting your thoughts in the polls, which I will do on this video. I know you guys love the poll as well. So, yeah, we will be doing that. So shout out to all of you in the building. I can see a lot of you. Jason in the building. Morning, Connor. Feel drained after the last two games. I know what you mean, mate. Have you calmed down now, Connor? I don't really know what that means. Is it like, are we at that stage right now? It's like a day after and people suddenly don't think it's a problem. Because if that's where you're at, Michael, and I've seen a few others in the comment section, no, I haven't at all. I want my club to get promoted. I'm not going to let a single net negative sort of get away with that. So no, I haven't. And doing the watch long and watching your club absolutely implode against third bottom in the division, it's not nice, to be honest with you. Does Farke not realise this is probably his last chance to get back to the Premier League? He needs to up his game. Side before self. Daniel, no more excuses. Yeah, we'll get into that. Morning, Jay. Hi, Matt. Matt joined us on the watch on the instant match reaction yesterday, mate. How good was he? Fantastic, top man again. Sits in the building. Morning, Connor. Farke needs to grow up and drop Mez or top two. It's not happening. Still annoyed about it. Yeah, you guys are bouncing off in the chat, and I can see and understand why. As Leeds fans, it was a painful one yesterday, wasn't it? An absolute painful one. I'm sure loads of you getting a lot of stick from your mates. At last, we had Sheffield United fans. They've been quiet for a while, everybody, but suddenly I was getting people sending me voice notes. I'm sure you know who. So I'll front it. Don't get me wrong. I'll front it. We've screwed up. I just asked for the same the other way, but yeah, what I wanted to do immediately was speak about the goalkeeper. That's where we're starting. That's going to be the main topic of this. If you don't want me to talk about this and you're not a fan of it, honestly, I'd say to you now, leave the stream. I'd say leave the stream. And if you don't want to hear me talk about Daniel Farke and things that need to improve from his standpoint, leave the stream. Because I know there's a large portion of maybe even people who come on this show and other shows who join who will just say, you know, you can't say anything bad about Farke, blah, 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 blah. You can't criticize him, blah, blah, blah. He's above the clouds, blah, blah, blah. So if you are one of those people and you don't want to hear it, I'd suggest you move on now. So giving you a little bit of a pre-warning. Okay, so last season, let's get into it. So last season, Daniel Farke called Illan Meslier the best goalkeeper in the league. And I think he actually followed that on with almost a, oh yes, he's the best goalkeeper in the league. So why I'm finding this difficult at the minute is because I think at the time it was unnecessary pressure on Illan Meslier because the stats didn't back up what Daniel Farke was saying. Now, there's a lot of people who were talking about the man management side of it. And if that was a ploy to give Illan Meslier a little bit of confidence, I don't mind it from a mentality standpoint when it comes to Daniel Farke. However, I don't think it was. I don't believe it was because he uttered it a couple more times throughout the season as well as almost, we've essentially got the best goalkeeper in the league. So I just didn't feel when I was listening to his press conferences that was almost a bit of a confidence booster for the goalkeeper. I genuinely believe Daniel Farke thinks that. And if he does think that, I'm slightly worried, and we're going to get into exact examples why, because I know some of you don't have social media, so I'm going to blow up something that is quite staggering, actually. But just to take you back to last season, and we've spoken about regression, we've spoken about improvement on the channel when it comes to Illan Meslier. So last season was actually a terrible season for him. Very bad when you look at his statistics. I was looking back at it this morning, and even I was shocked. So we were speaking earlier on in the week about how he wasn't as bad as last season. The problem now is after yesterday and after what we've maybe seen in the past month or so in particular, he's getting to that range again of continuation of doing what happened last season. Now, just to put this into perspective, guys, after Daniel Farke called him the best goalkeeper in the league, Illan Mele finished the season on a goals prevention statistic, which, guys, I think is the best metric of it, because, you know, if you save your team goals, you've done an unbelievable job as a goalkeeper. You know, you see some of the top goalkeepers at Championship and at Premier League levels at the best clubs, because when it matters, you know, when maybe the defense has faltered a little bit, the midfield's not on it, the team isn't on it, the goalkeeper bails them out. You know, you can't be perfect 24/7. You can't be perfect in every single football match. Okay, but the goalkeeper bails them out. So you had all the usual suspects at the top of the division. You had Johansson, obviously at Rotherham, which was massively impressive at the time. Hermansen at Leicester. You had Patterson at Sunderland. You had Pears again at Blackburn. You had Rushworth at Swansea. And you had Angus Gunn, all sort of topping the table when it comes to, you know, all those statistics, when it comes to goal prevention and save percentage. So I like to look at those in particular because I think the clean sheet representation is a good representation, but I think it's more on the unit, and Leeds keep the ball for so long and keep the ball away from the goal so much that I don't think that's a good representation for an individualistic statistic, which is, I think, more represented when you look at save percentage and goals prevented. So goals prevented, Illan Mele finished the season on minus 4.5. Okay, so that is nearly 5 goals the goalkeeper has gifted almost the opposition. Okay. That put him numerically 19th out of 24 goalkeepers in the league last season. Okay. So, and then you look at the save percentage, and he finished 15th last season, collecting a save percentage of 67%. So, these are all very based on Illan Mele. Now, they are not, that is not good reading whatsoever. Now, you probably think to yourself, well, Connor, where did we need that you know, the incremental increase? And a lot of people talking about obviously the outfield, but I think it's absolutely criminal that people overlook goalkeepers. Goalkeepers win you titles. Goalkeepers. I was watching highlights the other day of Johansson in net again at Stoke, and he was just unbelievable. Cooper yesterday for Sheffield United, so good, so assured, so like ego driven, but it's brilliant, the ego. He deserves that ego because he's just excellent. He commands his box, Michael Cooper, and he was pulling off save after save against Watford yesterday. Imagine if we had a bad defense. Imagine if we had a bad defense, how many goals that man would concede. Okay. So he's been covered at the minute by Leeds United as a unit, been able to keep the ball away from him, been a high possession side, and essentially camping in the opposition's box for 90% of the season. But when it does come down to those fine moments, you need your goalkeeper, and he's never there. And we're going to fly up some examples in a second. But it was a tale of two goalkeepers. And the thing is, if it was just a one thing yesterday, you know, you look at Cooper and then you look at Illan Mele, just as a comparison, and I watched Trafford yesterday for Burnley, just so assured in his punching, his collecting, his decision making. If it was just a one-time thing, you think, oh, it was only 1 week, but this is consistent. And the reason it's consistent is it's backed up by all the stats. Cooper, Trafford, up there when it comes to save percentage, up there when it comes to goals prevented. Cooper again yesterday was fantastic for Sheffield United. A Sheffield United side who went down to Watford, were patched up, battered by injuries, and they had to rely on the goalkeeper at points. And wow, what a performance from him. Okay. So now what I want to do in particular when it comes to Illan Mele is I want to focus on some of the moments. And some of you I know don't have social media, so I have to flash this up for you. But this has been going and doing the rounds. And I've picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've picked out 9 instances this season. So currently right now, he's on a goal prevention statistic, everybody, of nearly 2. So he's probably going to get just below maybe his 4.5 total that he got last season, dependent on the sort of howlers that he makes going forward, which will continue because this is now based on consistency. He's done it all last season. He's done it in the Premier League for Leeds United. So it will happen again. There will be more howlers. He will cost Leeds United more points. And from a blanket point of view, everybody, we just look at it and we go, well, Sunderland, and I've seen it, and this is a fair point of looking at it right now. Well, Sunderland now, he's cost us 3 points there. And yesterday's cost us 3 points. So already that's 6 points. Okay? That's 6 points. And these are really realistic things to look at when it comes to the amount of goals he could have prevented and the amount of points Leeds United could get. Okay? But I'm going to go into even more. I mean, it's subjectivity, but when you actually watch the goals back, I'm just going to get into a few bits. This was against Portsmouth at the beginning of the season. Near post, straight through him. Leeds were 1-0 up at the time, as you can see. Leeds had about 800 chances. They are the moments in a season where your goalkeeper just bails you out. A little bit of poor defending. It was Bogle at the time, I think, who'd just come out of position. He has to save that. Ball goes straight through him. Swansea. Now, this is an interesting one. Cullen has the ball on the edge, okay? And look at his positioning, okay? I understand the man far right had the ball, but it's covered. Why is he in that position? Ball trickles in. Another goal of Swansea's. We talk a lot about the ball's been going through Ilan Mele. I hear a lot of, he's a great shot stopper. Well, he's absolutely not. And those first two just show you why he's not. But here, never, ever commands that box. And you'll see that with some more instances going forward. That little 6-yard box, he never commands it. He never comes out. The ball was played in there into that 6-yard box. It's the danger zone, but you wipe the player out. You wipe the player out. He's between Rodon. He's between Strout. They're looking at the goalkeeper. It's a near post finish as well. Again. Sunderland, as you can see, look at all the players here. They're all arms out, confident. Goalkeeper's going to collect it. And they all just hit the deck after this. Every single one of them hit the deck. Another one. Now, you guys might have not looked at this one in particular. This one was an interesting one because the ball was floated over. He'd beaten the offside trap, the player here. But the thing is, what I want you to look at is Ilan Mele's positioning. It's right over on his near post again. And a lot of these are interesting because they are a lot down Ilan Mele's near side, okay? And he pretty much gets a palm to this, everybody. It's not a speedy effort on goal as well on the volley. It's a savable attempt. Another one. Look, and I wanted you to just look at this one for Hull yesterday. And sorry, it's cropped out on my face, everybody. This is the reaction. Look at Aronson. Look at Tanaka. Bogle's in complete disbelief, as is Strout and Rodon. Now, the Sunderland one, do you remember when Junior Firpo and everyone was having a go at Junior Firpo? Oh, Junior, he's going down. What confidence is that going to give Ilan? Oh, my goodness, he's gone down the tunnel. He's furious. It's not good. Bad from Junior Firpo. Because they'd rather do that than look at the guy between the sticks. If that's me and my goalkeeper has just done that at Sunderland in the last minute, let me refresh. That in the last minute, when the crowd's done, they've all left. The team's done with putting an absolute mammoth performance. And he does that. And it's a continuation because this isn't just a one-game thing. If you're a player, do you know what I'm doing? I'm going up to the manager. I'm going up to the manager. And that might not put me in good stead, but I'm actually having a word with him. Are you serious? Why is he still in between the sticks? And I reckon some of the Leeds players have done that yesterday. Because I reckon yesterday was the final straw for a lot of them. Probably especially with the likes of Joe Rodon, maybe others. But when people were all really gaslighting Junior Firpo as if it was his fault, he'd put the bad mentality, the bad showing on Ilan Mele. Absolute rubbish. It's exactly what you'd done. It's exactly what I'd have done. 2-1 up at the Stadium of Light, and he bottles it in the last minute, and he fails to catch a ball. And I'm so glad now, after 4-5 years, the fan base are coming round to actually looking at Ilan Mele, even though the data for 5 years has backed it up. They're all coming around and actually coming to the same perspective. Some still aren't, bizarrely, but we're getting a majority now, which at long last. Okay, so we've mentioned this one. This one's actually comical. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. You actually saw Dan James going through in the same instance. So as a goalkeeper, he's not actually rushed out and even just clattered Kamara. He's not rushed out and made himself big. Kamara can go around the side of him. He can go either side of him if he wants. He can place the ball. He's not made himself big. He's not rushed out with any assurance. He actually stuttered at the beginning, and that's a goal. This one, look at the players, everyone. Look at everyone. Aronson, hands out. Solomon, just in the corner, hands out. You expect your goalkeeper, and the ball's gone over the bar. The ball is currently over the bar right there. And you look at the Hull City player just on the far right near Bogle, he's almost slightly upset that the ball's gone up there. All the Leeds players, surely he's got to save that. Surely. Moments afterwards. This one, he's failed to punch it with Byram, gets across his line, and somehow finds himself doing this. Actually, if you look at the strike, it wasn't even that great from Kamara. So these are just examples of Ilan Mele, and I'm actually pointing the finger right now at Farke. The finger has been pointed at you, sir, because you have called him the best goalkeeper in the division. You have backed him, which I understand because he's your goalkeeper. But after the statistics last season, we were calling for it on this channel in the summer. And my old man were saying number one position. And me and my old man have stuck to it. And I know a lot of you guys have. We've stuck to it throughout. The number one position is your goalkeeper. But it's not a sexy position, is it? It's not a flair position. It's not a position where you go, oh, he can get us loads of goals, but he prevents loads of goals. You get a good goalkeeper, he might prevent 5-6 goals a season, which takes you up. Simple. So I'm looking now at Daniel Farke. I'm looking at the recruitment for not doing this last season. Okay. I'm looking now in January, in the month where this man, we have done enough outfield. We've done enough outfield. We've scored a large amount of goals. I think we've scored nearly 50 goals, more than everybody else. Worst case scenario, if we're just to get one body, which it feels like we're going to do, if we're just to get one body, you have to go for a goalkeeper. If you don't go for a goalkeeper, it's negligence. And this will happen again and again and again and again, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Portsmouth and Sunderland, fair enough. Okay, you know, some of you guys will say that, but that's 6 points right there. Do you get a Cooper doing that? Do you get a Trafford doing that? Do you get a Patterson doing that? Do you get a Pears doing that? Do you get a Rushworth doing that? Do you get anybody doing that in this division? Absolutely not. Doesn't happen. And you look at the amount of points Hermansen at Leicester saved that side, even when they were top of the division, it was ridiculous. It was above 6. 6 goals. So, and I wanted to get on to as well the manager persisting with him. At some stage, if he's not going to if he's not going to look at Ilan Mele, we've had 2 assist occasions now with Portsmouth and Sunderland. Okay, Portsmouth, there was validation for him to be dropped. There was validation for him to be dropped, 100%. At that point, early on in the season, you come back, get your form up, get your confidence up, have a little bit of time out the team. This is a continuation from last season. You've made another howler out the team. Okay, out the team. Sunderland had to be dropped. Wasn't dropped again. Now, how bad is Carl Darlow? I know there's some Welsh fans in the chat. How bad is Carl Darlow? Because when I look at Carl Darlow's CV, he didn't have a great game for Leeds United in the cup competition. Of course, we're all very aware of that. But that's it. Okay? Now, how many times can we say Ilan Mele has not had a good game? Probably 50-60% of his time at Leeds United. Okay? So how arrogant are we that Carl Darlow is that bad of a goalkeeper? Bearing in mind, this season, he's nearly gone. I think 2 out of the 3 games he's played for Wales, he's got man of the match. He's got ridiculous ratings for 3 of those games. He's come up against Turkey and Montenegro twice and conceded 1 goal and kept 2 clean sheets. I know I always go on about clean sheets with Ilan Mele and say it's a collective, but there is context because Leeds keep the ball all the time. The Welsh setup is very different, so clean sheets can be taken into context there. You know, you look at the overall pie of it. How arrogant are we that Carl Darlow can't get ahead of this guy? I mean, I'd completely understand it if he's a good goalkeeper, but he's not. He's not a good goalkeeper. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? And if Carl Darlow's not good enough, go and spend less than 5, 6, 7 million quid on Carl Rushworth. Go do it. Young and upcoming goalkeeper who could work in the Premier League, who was excellent at Swansea last season, who's currently on loan at Hull this season. He's got an ankle injury, but he's supposed to be back in the next week. Go and get him. Go and get him. Why not? Are you that arrogant that you think we are so good at this level? Are we that arrogant that we'll keep the ball away from him all the time? We just need to improve the number 10 and number 9. Do we think we're that good? Because we haven't been that good. You know, don't get me wrong, we're top of the tree right now. And this isn't an overreaction, everybody, because for me, this is 5 seasons worth. It really is. Really is when it comes to this goalkeeper. But the overall point is we can't be that naive to think that teams aren't going to get through us. Teams aren't going to have a 20, 25 minute, 45, maybe even 90 minute spell where they're better than us, i.e. Blackburn. And by the way, on that screenshot, I've not even included the Preston one. The Preston one, which he flopped at his near post again, it went straight through him. I've not even included that. That's another one. So the overall point is teams are going to get through Leeds United. And then when it's last line of defense, can you work with this goalkeeper? No. So we can't be arrogant anymore. He has to be dropped. And next week, there has to be a goalkeeper coming in. I don't care if loads of you will say, well, Connor, this isn't going to happen. I'm not in charge at Leeds United. I'm not in charge at Leeds United. But if the manager, if the board don't go and get a new goalkeeper, and if the board do get the manager a new goalkeeper, and he persists with this goalkeeper, puts Darlow in versus Harrogate, but then Melee straight back in against Sheffield Wednesday, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And there is a genuine possibility now, guys, a genuine possibility. I've felt this all the time anyway, but I'm coming out and saying it now. It's a genuine possibility that this guy costs us automatic promotion. Because you look at the goals conceded last season, you can't just blame Ilan Mele for that. It's a collective, of course. But the goals conceded last season, 4.5 minus, okay, which he hasn't prevented, those goals could have got us promoted. And it's the last line of defense. It's one of the most important positions on the pitch, the goalkeeper. You have to get it right. You have to get a commanding leader at the back. You look at Firpo, you look at Rodon, you look at some of the reactions of that team in general to this goalkeeper. No one has confidence in him. No one has confidence in him. So that instills panic in the defense, panic in the midfield. Bogle, a couple of games ago, wouldn't pass the ball back to him, put it out for a corner. Melee was the easier option. He put it out for a corner when he was under pressure because he knows in the back of his mind he can't do it. He cannot do it because he knows it might bobble and it'll go in the back of the net. They don't have confidence in him. What is the point in having a solid back four if you don't have the fifth man who they're confident in? It's shocking. It really is shocking. Sean says, yes, always blame Farke. Welcome to my world, Connor. Yeah, shout out to you, Sean. Thanks, mate. It's not. I think we need to have a conversation, a serious conversation as a fan base about Carl Darlow coming in the next game. And if Carl Darlow's not good enough and we're too good, and Carl Darlow, because you'll get this, Carl Darlow. I hear this all the time. Carl Darlow. I cannot ever get my head around it, but because he's had a bad 1 or 2 games for Leeds. I can't even remember his period at Leeds. I know he had that cup game, but because of that, he's now not allowed to play for us again. Bearing in mind, the guy who's in net for us has had so many bad games. And by the way, Carl Darlow played in the 21 or 22-23 season for Hull City throughout the entire season in the Championship. And I'm not blowing up Carl Darlow here, but even when he's not playing any minutes for Leeds United, he's going away with Wales and doing a pretty decent job, I'd say. When he's arguably man of the match for 3 of those games and kept 2 clean sheets and got man of the match for, I think statistically, for 2 of those games. Could be wrong. But Jamie says, yeah, it's because it's not Carl Darlowino. And I'd be interested. Jeff, let's chill. A quality keeper would be amazing, but I don't see it happening. If not, relax and keep focused. When? I hate this. I absolutely hate this. Jeff, I understand that's your opinion, mate. Fair point. I know we're top of the league. I understand we're top of the league, but this is what happens all the time. It's the day afterwards. Let's chill out and we ignore it. This is what happens with our fan base. Oh, stop being negative. Stop being pessimistic. What if Elan watches this video? This is what I get all the time. What if Elan watches this video? What if Farke watches this video and gets upset? I've genuinely had that on my videos before. Guys, we're here to look at how Leeds United can improve in January. Well, I am here to get my club promoted. I want Leeds United above anything to get promoted right now. And I look at every other competitor with a good goalkeeper. The importance of that man between the sticks is huge. Breeding confidence and mentality. You watched Michael Cooper yesterday. He saved Sheffield United. He saved Sheffield United a few times. We all know they're not a great team to watch. But the reason their back line, in my opinion, is probably more effective than ours. It's not even because of their back four. It's because of the goalkeeper and how good he is and how assured he is. We will have to make do, Jeff, and you bang on, mate. We will have to make do, and I agree with that, but that's not good enough because we talk about the 49ers being data people. We talk about Daniel Farke basing things on a meritocracy, mate. We base it on a meritocracy. Everything's a meritocracy. Solomon playing over Ramazani. Dan James starting over Willie Gnonto. Rothwell keeping his position in certain games over Ampadu or Tanaka. It's based on a meritocracy. How are things based on a meritocracy if Ilan Mele is playing every single week? We don't have an option. Well, we do have an option. We brought in that option as sustenance. That was a recruitment drive. We brought in a second goalkeeper. Right. Pete says a snowman would have saved the second, maybe the first. Yeah, guys, I can tell. Don't forget Alex Cairns, Connor. Yeah, I mean, he's there, mate. I can't imagine that'd get done. Chris says Steele from Brighton would be class. Another one there, mate. Steele's on the old side, but guess what he can do? He can play out from the back. He's been in with the Brighton system, and any Brighton goalkeeper, Rushworth, would be so good in a build-up system. Carl Rushworth You go get Carl Rushworth. Joe Whitworth at Palace Loney at Exeter is lighting up that division. Sam Tickle at Wigan is lighting up League One. Young goalkeepers who you can go and get for really small valuations. We're not talking about a 10 where you have to pay 40 million. You know, obviously not 40 million, but you get what I'm saying. I'm exaggerating, but you have to pay a lot of money. A 9, you have to pay a lot of money. Goalkeepers, you don't. Michael Cooper, Sheffield United, 1 million. Johansson, Rotherham to Stoke, 1 million. Okay, I think Cooper was 2 million to be fair, but 2 and 1 million quid. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Very solid for Wales, but that's just my opinion. Kept us in the game against Montenegro away. How many times can we say he kept us in the game? Name one game where he's kept us in the game. One. Where he's kept us in the game in 2 years. So look, I don't want to do this thing where it's all on. And as Liam says, hey, shout out to you, Liam. Farke has to drop him. Not the only team in sanity, but Melee himself. Big Sam was spot on when he dropped Mez with what he said. Yeah, he has. And I think right now you're right. And we can talk about Melee. We can talk about how he's not good enough. But who's picking him? Who's picking him? And this is where my frustration is right now. It's actually, believe it or not at Elan Melee. It's not. It's not at Elan Melee. It's at the gaffer. He's got to take him out. And if he doesn't take him out, it's a real worry. A real worry because this is just going to continue. Data, trends, patterns. He's going to cost us more goals and he's going to cost us more points. But if there's people in here say, nah, we need another number 10. We need another number 10. That's fine. But as long as you get a goalkeeper, I'm happy with it. But if one forsakes the other, no way. Goalkeeper all day. Bearing in mind, we've scored the most goals in the division. Okay, let's get into a couple of your comments before we get on to the next point. Great shout with Steele. Bags of experience, good with his feet. He's excellent with his feet, but so is Carl Rushworth. Carl Rushworth is an open goal again. He's an open goal, but you've got numerous open goals in this division. Do you know what you could do? You could even go and get Johansson. I know he's just moved to Stoke. I know he's going to be on a contract, but if you want, it's not going to be a mad offer if you go in and get Johansson. Look at him against us. Okay, for large periods of that game against, look how assured he was. Do you remember how cocky he was, smiling? Stoke were rock bottom when it came to form in the division, but Johansson, he's right up at the top when it comes to save percentage. And against us, do you remember how confident he was, how brash, how ego? And he's at Stoke, and he was at Rotherham. He was loving it. He was claiming everything. He was good from corners. He was decisive. He was a leader. That sort of person gets you up and thrives with you in the Premier League as well. How many times have we seen a goalkeeper at Championship level be able to cut it at Premier League level? Numerous times. Lee says, that can't go on, mate. We could be street said with half these errors made. Good goalkeeper. Saves us a good number of points. Mate, a good goalkeeper right now, and we're top of the division by 6 points, 100%. JC says, with having Mez in goal, it's like having an open goal. How many more points will Mez cost Leeds this season? Well, stats will tell you, mate. He's going to let in consistently. I mean, I'm not even going back to the Premier League stats when it comes to goals prevented because he had a terrible defence and there was 4 managers there. And look, I understand completely that it's maybe a little bit of a bad metric. But if I wanted to go down that route, the Premier League route, it's not good statistics for him either. It really isn't. So this is a pattern. Okay. Yeah, shout out to all of you who are donating as well, everyone. Yeah, sorry, the comments are flooding. It looks like you all agree with me. Clem says Darlow has performed well for Wales recently. Nigel Martin should make a comeback. Dormster says I go for Kelleher at Liverpool. We could sell this to him, especially with being Premier League at Beckenham. Lee's in the building again. Lee, I thought you didn't like watching me, mate. I thought you didn't like watching me. I'm not very good at this. Apparently, you were saying yesterday. I get wound up, mate, because it's my club, mate. Because it's my club. That's what happens, and I think we all know what's not going to happen. So it's very frustrating. But I'm absolutely fine. I'll leave this stream, mate, and I'll go and have a good day with my girlfriend in the snow. It'll be absolutely fine for me. I've said about Barry, and people are saying we can't because Sunderland are wanting him. How delusional are our fans? I think we can't bully teams into sand. I've said the bully boy tactic, everybody, for years. We're Leeds United. But sometimes I think our name is a little bit sort of downtrodden. And we can't do this. We can't do that. Okay. Next thing, I wanted to talk about Ramazani as well, because this is 3 things we learned. We've spoken about that for 30 minutes, but I think that's right. Okay, so I wanted to talk about his inclusion right now. But once again, it does come back to Daniel Farke. We can praise Daniel, but we can criticize Daniel as well. That is life. Ramazani, I don't know what's going on here. I've speculated and, well, I'm not going to say it for facts, but yeah. Solomon, I feel is Very much a Daniel Farke signing, very much. And Solomon's been excellent. And actually, is one of the points that I'm going to get onto later on with another man, just to end the video with a bit of a positive. Solomon, I think, has been excellent, absolutely excellent. James should have come off yesterday. Aronson should have come off and Peru should have come off. Well, imagine we're talking about Aronson and Peru again, guys. I know Peru got his goal. Aronson and Peru away from home doesn't work. We will continue saying this till we're blue in the face. A goal doesn't get them out of that. The overall performance wasn't good enough. And I think from the attacking unit as well, it was extremely poor when it came to pass percentages, shot efficiency, connectivity when it came to actually just basic passes yesterday. It was so bad in the attacking third. And overall, everybody actually executing our XG, because our XG now, I can't imagine what it is, the amount of chances we get. And we can all turn around and go, well, we get chances. We need to put them in the back of the net. And we've got options on the bench. Ramazani got injured, didn't he, on the 22nd of October, and then was back after that. And he didn't play at all versus Swansea. So he's back after that. I think he was out for about 4 to 6 weeks after research. And then he was back for the Swansea game. Okay. Now, point overriding here. Who deserves to start right now? Solomon. 100%. Manor Solomon's been excellent. Okay. You're asking me who's the better player and who do I see at Premier League level and who do I see as a constant plan? One's a loan, one's a permanent signing. Okay. One was brought in as Somerville's replacement. One was brought in at the end of the window when it comes to an opportunistic signing. Well, obviously, Ramazani was near to the end as well, but one was brought in as an opportunistic signing. Solomon's coming into it now. But I think long term, we are going to have Ramazani next season and potentially the season after was dependent on form. I don't think we're going to have Solomon next season. That's what I personally think. I think it'd be a lot of money to get hold of him. I don't think Leeds will do that. So his minutes, I want you guys to focus on this because I put something out yesterday about Ramazani and why he's not getting minutes. And people were then saying he's shite. Because this is what happens when they don't get on the pitch. They're shite. Okay. Against Luton, when he's been back, he's had 5 minutes. Blackburn, 15 minutes. Derby, 5 minutes. Bury didn't get on the pitch. Preston, he had 20 minutes. Oxford, he had 15 minutes. Stoke, he had 10 minutes. Derby started and wasn't good enough. And the last 2, he hasn't featured at all. Now, this guy, let's take us all back to the mindset of prior Ramazani's injury. We're all talking about him being the best player. We're all so excited by him away from home. He was a transitional nightmare. Cardiff, Norwich been key examples of that. He was a serious problem, you know. He obviously came on in I think it was the game at home against, might have been Luton. He came on against Luton and he looks very, very good, didn't he? Very quick, very good on the half turn. And everyone looked good against Luton. But the overarching point here is he's not playing. He's not even coming on. And you've got speed and you've got a presence. Obviously, he started against Derby, but the collective of the last 8 or 9 games, he's not really getting enough minutes. And you've got a player on there who can affect things. You've got a player who was playing La Liga football last season. And I didn't want to focus on Nonto too much because people will say about Nonto, well, he's not performing, but Nonto is still an extremely good option for Leeds United against Hull City. Very good option. Ramazani is another sensational option against Hull City. He doesn't play. You know, I was of the opinion yesterday that at 2-1, 3-1 even, you just kill them off completely. Increase the goal difference again. They were done. Ramazani has to come on. Okay. I understand that people maybe say, well, Gilavogi needed to come on and Joseph, and I understand that, to make a 3-way sub and just kill them off, because I think that would have done. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but the overarching point here for me, everybody, is he's not getting minutes. Really. And for the last 2, he's not even played. So when you look at when he's returned from injury, it's been very, very sparing for Ramazani. And I don't think that is the way to manage a player of that ability. I think he's a terrific ability, especially at this level. And I think you've got an ace card there, which can absolutely thrive at this level. As we saw when he played those 6 games, he's just been out after that, hasn't he? But let's get him back into the starting 11. Farke is not going to get us up. He is intransigent regarding team selection and substitutions. Aronson looks tired. James could do the rest. Andy, that's what we were saying post-match. I think you bang on. I think this is maybe the inclusion of a Ramazani, of a Nonso. Their minutes have been managed, if you want to put it that way. Ramazani, it will be completely fresh right now. Completely fresh on the bench. But continuously, we see Aronson and James. James is knackered. You could see that yesterday. the cutting inside with that left foot, which just doesn't work. The balls that were going out of play, he just looked completely off it. And I think he's looked off it for a bit now. Aronson's just looked. What more do you need to say? What more do you need to say? I think in the last three beforehand, his levels have been decent, but away from home, he just almost looks like he really struggles with the physicality and the athleticism of other teams in that number 10. But he looks knackered as well. I think we all can see this. Every single one of the fan base can see the knackered. You've got those rotation options. Aronson's pretty much played every single minute, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a bye. You've got to rotate that. You've got to rotate. So, yeah, Nonso is a top 5 player in the league. He definitely is. If fans are calling Ramazani rubbish, then I mean, trust me, mate, I was putting these tweets out, and it's a strange rhetoric. Now he's absolutely crap, according to some fan base. I watched Largy arrive at Hull, and his body language was dreadful. All the players high-fived the marketing guys. Largy just completely ignored them. Something isn't right, in my opinion. Potentially, could be right, mate. Keep getting your thoughts on everybody. I'm going to try. I think Farke is a hindrance. You're right. We need a match fit Ramazani. We were so on course and comfortable after the Xmas run. Can't get my head around how we effed it up. We are top of the. Here we go. We are top of the division FFS. Yeah, we made a mistake, but we didn't lose. I'm not ignoring the failings either. Things will benefit from sorting them out. I like that unity. I think that's a good point. I think at the end you've sort of come round and said, look, and I'm here, unity as well, for solutions. I'm here for solutions, but we genuinely can criticize what's going on. We are top of the league. Okay. But as we've said, Blackburn, we came on this channel, Unity. Everybody was on this channel, and we were all saying, do you know what? Not ideal. You can't win every game, but it's Blackburn. And we said that on this channel. Okay. So it's not an FFS moment. It's really not, because we're not being massively reactionary here at all. We're trying to look at improvements for this side, and we're also looking at patterns and trends which have continuously happened. And we're trying to get our team back to the Premier League. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. Now, Christmas period was excellent. 10 points in 12. Came out on this channel and said it. But the reality is of the last two performances have not been good enough. The management of the game has been, quite frankly, shite. Okay. And that's on the manager, and that's on the players as well. To go 1-0 up against Blackburn at home and then 60 to 90 seconds later to concede. Not good enough. Not good enough management of the game. To be 3-1 up against an absolutely confidence-battered Hull City side. Ruben Selles, who has come into a side of which, there's conversations about them being nowhere near good enough. He's come in to a side like that, and they've managed not only to get back into the side, to get back into the game in the last 10, 15 minutes, but to score 3 goals against Leeds United. Okay? That ain't good enough. So the last 2 games, the management of it has been poor. And this is the whole problem when it comes to, I feel, that ambition level, that expectation, that standard. Yesterday, if results had gone right for us, we could have gone 5. I think it might have been even 6 points clear. Okay, results didn't go for us, but we could have still increased that goal difference, which was happening at 3-1, and we could have gone 3 points clear. Okay, with the other 2 in for hard games again, And we didn't do that. And then our point behind us. And this is the frustration, I think, with the fan base. The fan base want us to make that lead, want us to get that lead, because there's going to be a point in this season where we come up against some tricky sides. We've got Burnley coming up. We've got Sheffield away, both away games coming up. We want that cushion. But now, it's fair enough. We're right. The expectation and the standard is on the side to go and rectify that right now. Domson says, I really like the format when you bring in the other guys for a general chat. How do I put my name in the hat? Do I need to sign up somewhere? Yes, mate. If you want to be involved in that, you have to be part of the Patreon, mate. We get the Patreon members all on, and we put like a link in the description, and some of the lads come on. So you need to be part of the Patreon, mate. Link in the description below. Okay, so let's get on to some positives. Bogle and Solomon. As we've mentioned, lads, with Solomon, I think very good. Very, very good right now. Do I think he looks a little bit tired at the minute? I actually don't. I think he's playing really well. I think he's loving it. It's frustrating when he was brought off the other day, which fans were saying was a bad thing. I didn't mind whatsoever. I thought that was good. It's competitiveness, it's standards. Solomon is the best attacking player in the side at the minute, but the manager is getting the attacking unit wrong. So, yeah, he's getting the attacking unit wrong. It should be changed. This whole notion of a number 10 has to be trained for 4 months, I think is poppycock. I think it's rubbish. I think you saw Brendan Aronson at the beginning of the season playing on the left side of a 3 in behind the striker. And then Rutter was sold. 5 days later, Brendan Harrison was playing in that number 10 and was playing okay, according to a lot of people. A lot of people thought he started the season well, including myself, to be fair. Okay. So I don't think that needs to happen. I think as well, if you've got players who have played in that position before, AK Solomon, AK Nonto, they can go into that number 10 and do okay, especially if they take up central positions during a match, which we see that a lot when it comes to Nonto and Solomon. Okay, so that is an option right there where you've got Ramazani, he can slot in. Look, Joseph, I'm not going to go on about it, but you guys know, once again, what in my opinion should happen there, but it is what it is. But I thought Solomon was really good yesterday. Another one that I wanted to mention, I will keep mentioning until I'm blue in the face, was Bogle. I thought Bogle was just brilliant again yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Really, really good consistency-wise. Excellent on that right-hand side defensively. Excellent going forward. And visibly frustrated at the end again. You know, visibly frustrated. And he'll be thinking, penny for his thoughts, he'll be thinking as well. And this isn't to say it's done, by the way, but he'll be thinking, I moved to Leeds United to win the league, to just get up, to just get up. And he'll come to Leeds United thinking Sheffield United might struggle a little bit and Leeds will go on and prosper. Okay, that's what he'll be thinking. That'll be in the back of his head. So he'll be desperate to get up to the Premier League, not only to play Premier League football, but he'll be thinking about the move that he's made. And that's why he's probably looking at what's going on at the minute and thinking, come on, we've got to improve. And I think it'll give the team a boost. I think it'll give the team a massive boost. Definitely recommend joining the Patreon, lads and lasses. A great bunch of people with all opinions. Welcome. Always, mate. Always. Really appreciate that as well, Jamie. The leads of the leads. Yes, yeah, exactly, mate. Smith says we need to talk about Farke's in-game management or lack of it. Subs at 70 minutes. It's then like waiting for a bus. Nothing for an hour and 3 arrive at the same time. Not only that, mate, but we've got the most goals from substitutes during the season, which I think is 9. They were showing it in the Burnley game. But a lot of it is quality as well. The quality that you're bringing off the pitch is just ridiculous. There's points at which you're bringing off Joseph. You might bring off Joseph, James, Ramazani, Nonso. So with the greatest of respect, is Farke's substitutions great management? I've never seen it as that. I understand why people do, but I just think the quality that we're bringing off the bench is naturally going to affect a game on 70 minutes, normally anyway. But I guess you can give him that. But I think there's been too many times this season where his substitutions have been woeful. I think he does it too late. I think the personnel he brings on at certain times isn't good enough. You look at it yesterday, bringing Gilavoggi on and Joseph on after they'd conceded a 3rd goal. And you bring Joseph on the 91st minute. Gilavoggi comes on as a defensive presence when we need a goal. I don't know. It just feels almost scripted at points, which, look, he needs to improve. He needs to improve. But the good thing is we're still top of the table. And that is the Unity said it. We've seen a couple of other people here saying it. We are still top of the table, but you need to improve. I think Farke needs to improve his in-game management. I've said this loads of time. Ramazani has to start featuring more. Nonto, I think, has to start featuring more consistently as well. We have to rotate that number 10. Even within the squad, we can do it. And the goalkeeper has to be moved on. And if he's not moved on, he needs to be dropped as number 2. I don't know. I don't know what you can do. Can you have 4 keepers within this club? Well, Leeds need to make that happen. Okay, I'll be starting Darlow against Harrogate. If he has a good performance against Harrogate, which I'm sure he will, but if he has a good performance against Harrogate, start him against Sheffield Wednesday. Elan Mele, based on meritocracy, does not deserve to start for Leeds United. He deserves to be dropped. 100% deserves to be dropped. So yeah. Rizel says Farke failed last season. He's failing now again. If we don't change now, when will we? The thing is, mate, the numerical statistic right now is he's top of the division and Leeds are top of the division. If that continues to fail, if Mele continues to make blunders, if we continue to underutilize certain personnel in this side, I don't know. And this isn't reactionary as well, by the way. It's not reactionary because we've given the flowers to Solomon, who's been excellent, right? But I think there is a conversation that there's a hell of a lot of players, in my opinion, in this side who just get automatic starting places, or maybe a few players who get automatic starting places based really on not that much. But also the rotation aspect has to happen at Christmas when you've got fresh quality players on the bench who affect games and have shown that they've affected games. So, yeah. Guys, listen, I'm going to leave it. Magician, yeah, exactly, mate. I'm going to leave it there. And I don't want to. These three things are never supposed to be this long. If you have just joined, you can go back and watch it from the start. I really appreciate you guys like being on the channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with the debrief later on. I'm sure you guys will will be back and enjoying that one as well. As I say, if you want to help out, join the Patreon. You can donate to the channel. There's a thanks button right at the bottom near my icon name. Just a little FYI as well, everybody. We are looking at starting a new channel. A general channel where we just talk about bits and bats and football. If you are interested in that, let me know in the comment section below and leave a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you've subscribed as well to the channel. Really appreciate it. We're nearly on 41.3 at the minute, and you guys have been excellent throughout this period. You can go back and watch this. You can go back and watch this from the start as well if you've just joined. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciated it. And hopefully this has been therapy for you, because there's been different points viewed up and all that sort of stuff. So guys, enjoy your day. It's a bit snowy, but probably wherever you guys are as well. You're all around the world. It might be a little bit sunny as well. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure from my end. Thank you. And let's hope things improve a little bit. It's been Connor. I will see you on the other side. Cheers.